Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast arena. Coming to the ring at this time...
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
First, representing This Week in Geek, and from parts unknown, he is Mike, the Birdman, Dodd.
I am one hardcore D-O-double-D. I'm a nice man. I'm a nice man.
His tag team partner, representing the Geekcast radio network, and hailing from the outer reaches of your mind, he is Mike, TFG1 Blanchard.
I got 4 words for you. Check out my ass.
And from the Great White North, here is your special guest referee, Ryan, the UnEvenFlow.
The multi always gets his man.
You are listening to Mayhem Mics. And now, let's get ready to podcast!
Hello and welcome to Mayhem Mics. This is episode 47 of the show. And I think, folks, we're just going to stick to reading the Boom Studios WWE comics. We're not going to be doing any more pay-per-views or anything like that. We're done. I am, of course, TFG.
Wow,
yeah, you heard me. I am, of course...
I disagree completely.
What do you mean you
done?
disagree completely? Hello? All hope is gone right now for WWE.
Wow, wouldn't go that far. Anyway.
I don't know. So, Hell in a Cell, 2018. We start... This was on the kickoff show, which neither one of us watched. I am, of course, TFG.
I went back and watched them live.
Oh, okay, well, whatever.
It was really good.
I am, of course, TFG and Mike. Joining me is Ryan, the UnEvenFlow Merkley. Kickoff match was WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The New Day versus Rusev Day.
Solid match. And it was a good starter. It kind of sucks that there was no crowd.
Yeah.
Nobody had gotten into the stadium yet, pretty much, especially when they first started. Just keep an eye out for that. They tried to make it seem like there were a good number of people, but there was not early on. In any case, it was a solid match. The New Day retained to nobody's real surprise.
Yeah.
They do not seem to know what to do with poor Rusev, who is over like crazy, although it looks like they're starting the wheels on that finally, but it's quite a bit overdue. So we'll see.
I just want to preface this by saying, if you're going to have a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell, every single match should be in the cell.
I don't think everyone should have been, because it kind of cheapens it. But so the first match was Hell in a Cell, Hardy and Orton. I think that made sense. The two that bugged me, they should have done something or had some sort of stipulation for Becky versus Charlotte, since that was supposedly a big personal feud. And then the one that they really missed the boat on is Joe AJ.
That should have been in the cell.
Because Joe's been talking about his family and taking over as daddy and everything.
Exactly.
By the way, his storybook was great.
Yeah,
and
that was amazing.
I was glad they replayed that because I thought it worked perfectly. I thought I have loved Joe in that feud, and it is legitimately one of the reasons I'm still watching this at all. Because, I mean, Owens is floundering and pretty much not doing anything. They don't know what to do with Elias. They don't know what to do with Rusev. Sami Zayn is injured. Like, a lot of my favorite guys are either out, but then AJ and Joe are just killing it, and those are two guys I absolutely love.
Yeah.
So that makes me happy. And as for people killing it, this match, holy cow. So anyone that complains that the PG era isn't allowed to have rough wrestling or matches that look hard-hitting or that kind of thing, are completely full of shit because they should watch this. Holy crap. Orton's back and his legs were a mess after this.
Yep.
We had the sequence with the screwdriver, which, I had to turn away.
Yeah.
I was kind of doing the whole, is it over yet?
Yeah, it's like peeking through your, putting your hand over your face, peeking through your fingers kind of a thing. Like, oh my God, I can't watch this. I can't watch this.
And then the last spot, which I need to mention too, because Hardy had said, he was going to do something crazy. It wasn't as crazy as I had feared. That made me happy. Nobody went off the top of a cell this year. And that actually makes me happy. Yeah, because this stuff's dangerous enough, having seen it live and knowing the injuries we've seen in the past year. So I'm perfectly okay with that. But regardless of that, Hardy swings himself, and it looks like he's going to try to do a splash. I think it was face first through the table onto the mat. Oh.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and this was a really good opening match. And for as much crap as I've given Orton since we started doing this show, and in the years before then, for when he seems unmotivated and that sort of thing, both he and Hardy have done a really good job in this feud. And this was a terrific match. It was a great start to it. It did a great job of making the cage feel dangerous, which, by the way, would have made more sense if they had more than one other cage match.
Yep. Yeah. This, not
to mention a cage match that took a shit over the entire cage and the stipulation, whatever. Get to it later.
Yeah, we'll get to it at the end. It's all right. So the Orton Hardy match, I dug it. I thought it was cool. You're right. There are some moments where it's like, I just can't watch this now.
I was glad that it was hard hitting and they had everything, but it wasn't dangerous.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. Like, unless you've got like a lunatic in your corner, things shouldn't really go off the rails. Hell, even the announcers said, like you were saying earlier about how Orton seems to be very much into the feud and very much into the story. The announcers even commented on that, where it was like, oh, you can tell Randy's really into this. He's really enjoying this. He's not, he's giving it his all. He's not just phoning it in, which is great because, let's face it, the last time we saw Randy in a big feud thing, it seemed like he was not that interested.
Well, if you're referring to the gender feud, oh, man, neither of us were fans of that. I don't know anybody who was.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
So, bleh. Right. Yeah, and I should note, before I forget, that Orton won.
Yep, Orton beat Hardy.
Yeah, after Hardy went face first. And they did the whole EMT bit, which didn't seem out of place or anything, too. This was all well done. I was pretty happy with the whole thing.
Absolutely. The WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, Becky Lynch defeats Charlotte Flair. I love this. I thought this was great. I've liked Becky since she debuted, since she first won the championship, being the first SmackDown's Women's Champion. And I've thought for the longest time that she deserved another shot, and thank God we finally, get it with her being champion again.
I thought they did a great job, too, especially with what they had to follow. They had to follow the Hell in a Cell match, one of the only ones we're getting on the night, and they did well. The crowd was into it. I'm happy for Becky Lynch, who I think really does need to be elevated, because she's extremely talented. She always was.
Yeah. And
there were a couple of spots that were a little not smooth, we'll say.
Right.
Much like my transition there. But overall, no, I thought the match was solid, though, and everything worked well. There were a couple matches, by the way, that the endings were a little off. This one, and notably Ms. Maurice and Brian and Bree, but Eminem versus B&B. But
why you have Eminem going up against a B&B?
Well, Eminem used to be Mrs. Old Tag Team way back when.
Yep.
When whatever. So back to this match, though. Yeah, this was solid. There was a lot of the two of them working different body parts. No, I was happy with this match. And again, it was really solid. It's weird. It's been a really good start to the pay-per-view. It's like everything's great for a long time until something that happens at the end. Huh.
Yeah, we're going to be somewhat positive and whatever throughout most of this, but
because this was great.
Once it gets to the end, we're both like I want people to put an F-bomb counter on me and count how many times I use an F-bomb, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to use a lot.
But yeah, this was a solid match, and it's obviously not the end of the feud. They've had them beat since, but I'm fine with it continuing to go on. And Becky works really well as an in-between or a heel, whatever you want to consider her as. But yeah, she's clearly enjoying it too, I would say. So yeah, well done.
Absolutely.
Speaking of well done, holy crap, is this next match good?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So we had the Raw Tag Team match. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose versus Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. I'm just going to say it now. This was my match of the night. This was terrific action. All of these guys work really well together. And,
they do.
Ambrose, Ambrose on Monday night after this looked great too. He works really well with these guys, and I think that's something they should continue with for a while. Rollins works really well with anybody. I've said it before. He could probably make me look. He could drag me to a 0.5 star match. That's how good Seth Rollins is. And the end to this. So first of all, I was surprised that McIntyre and Ziggler won. I was surprised that they won cleanly, but I liked how they did it with Drew kind of running in, and he hits the Claymore while Rollins is going for that Falcon Arrow of his after the superplex, which he likes to do. And I like that Ambrose may not have noticed that there was the tag in. And I mean, I'm pretty sure he did, but there's some question as to whether or not, like, it was clean, but it wasn't super clean. Neither team looked bad at the end, is what I'm trying to say. Nobody seemed weaker or anything, and the guys just killed it in the ring. There really wasn't a go take a bathroom break or something moment in what was a pretty long match between four guys. I was really impressed with this, and I feel kind of bad for the other tag teams on Raw because they've done well all this time. But man, these guys are killing it.
Yeah, we finally have a something for Ziggler to do that is working.
Great when they give him something to do and he's motivated, much like Randy.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's perfect with McIntyre. For whatever reason, the two of them just gel, and I hope they don't break them up.
Yeah, I hope they don't either. Because the whole idea of the Shield versus Braun Strowman and the zigzag of McIntyre, like, we haven't seen... I don't remember the last time since I've been watching WWE since 2007. I don't remember the last time I saw a good three-man team thing.
Or basically having a stables feud, yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
They haven't had many stables, and the last few they've had were terrible. Remember the League of Nations?
No!
They just threw together guys and that kind of thing. It's nice that, this has worked out well. And it's great because they definitely have chemistry, and Roman and Braun usually have chemistry with one another as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like if they were, how stupid would it be to say add a third person to that? I mean, how dumb would that be?
Yeah.
That would be just ridiculous. Luckily, though, they're in a cage, so I'm sure we'll have an end to that. So...
Should we just skip over everything so we can curse out the ending or no?
No, because we're 3 for 3 on good matches, and something tells me we'll be 4 for 4.
Yep. So up next is AJ versus Joe WWE Championship match. Should have been in the cage. It really should have been in the cell.
It should have finished the show. If you're gonna have both world titles defended, and you're gonna have one of the matches doesn't have an ending, have the one that does have an ending close the show so people don't leave feeling ripped off.
Yeah.
That's why they should have done it. And not to mention, to be blunt, AJ Styles has been there every single night, and Joe has been as well, barring the injuries he's suffered. They deserve, and this feud, by the way, has been killing it, they deserve a much higher profile than what they've gotten. They've been shoved aside for a bunch of shitty part-timers who don't give a shit about the business and just come in for a paycheck to show up for 2 minutes of work.
It's not
anyway,
good.
I'm not happy about that scenario, especially when these two guys keep killing it. And this was a solid match. I do think it should have been in the cage because it would have felt more personal. Like, the two of them have been talking about each other's families, that kind of thing. I don't understand why in Hell in a Cell it's not in the cell.
I don't get it either.
Whatever. I'm not going to get angry about that because it's not their fault. And this was a really good match regardless. I liked the ending, even though it was sort of a non-ending, with AJ gets the pin, but we find out that Joe made AJ tap out.
Right.
And it makes sense, because, I mean, the ref can't be on both sides at the same time. It doesn't make sense from we can't change the result, because let's be honest, they change the result all the time. Yeah. Also, as we see later on, rules mean fuck all in a stupid pay-per-view. Anyway, what was I saying before I was getting really angry again? Oh, so... How good the match was. But yeah, Styles wins, he retains. I still liked the ending. I thought it was well done in terms of the timing, too. Like, AJ's got to make the tap right before the 3. And then you compare to, say, the finale, like the last match, where Mick Foley clearly counts to 3 at one point. Wah, wah.
Oh. Like, yeah. What? No. All right, so we have the Miz Maurice, Daniel Bryan, Brie Bella match. Miz and Maurice win.
So it's the right ending.
It's the right ending because they're going to be
because Daniel should finish it 1-on-1.
Yeah.
So I think it's the right ending. I didn't like the match wasn't bad, by the way, but I didn't like that the focus was on Brie and Maurice. It should have been on Daniel and the Miz, who have been building this for years. And let's be honest, it's mostly on Brie, and so the Bellas and Lesnar need to form a stable of people who are part-time and just show up for a goddamn paycheck or to promote their shit. Because the only reason the Bellas have suddenly returned is to promote Total Divas, which I could care less about. And they are... It annoys me because this writing team can't find anything for Asuka to do, or some of these other wrestlers who are here 24/7, and who, quite frankly, are way more talented than either Bella. Yeah. But the two of them get to be the focus the second they come back. I mean, Brie and Nikki are teaming up with Rousey for Evolution, which is just a load of shit to do that. Or sorry, not for Evolution, for the Australia
Super Showdown. And then they announced another Saudi Arabia match. And I'm like, event. And I'm like, really? Seriously?
Also, it's really shit timing to be doing it after Evolution because they're not going to be allowed to wrestle on that card. And
exactly.
I get WWE needs money, but this is a bad look for them.
Yeah.
And whatever. I don't even want to get into... I am not excited for that show. I leave Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker alone.
Really. Yep.
They have some of the greatest performances in all of history. I don't need to see them both, quite frankly, trotted out way past their prime, not as full-timers, and taking away valuable time. This is why nobody can get behind Reigns, or nobody gets behind Ambrose and Rollins or some of the others fully, because they keep shoving these legends back in our face. Yeah. Or a guy like Lesnar or the Bellas or whoever telling us they're special and we need to feel everything we have for them because they're so special, and it's a one night only thing when, by the way, they show up every week. And it doesn't help anybody. It's at the expense of the performers that are there day in and day out, and it's really frustrating at this point. They can't seem to figure out why they can't get stars over, but then they just keep throwing money at part-timers and, this is the one match you need to watch for. Oh, with this guy who wrestles, once every 5 years? Yeah, great. Yeah. No. Whatever. Women's title match.
Women's title match, Ronda versus...
sorry. Actually, do you have anything to say about Miz, Maurice, and Bryan? And
I mean, it's a nice setup to what I assume is going to be a triple match thing. Like, this is the first one. Or the stuff on Raw, was it Raw or SmackDown? I forget.
SmackDown.
Whatever. Like, that was kind of like the first thing. This was the second kind of thing. And then the supposedly grand finale between Miz and Bryan is going to be at Super Showdown or whatever.
But this should have been more personal, is my thing.
Like they should have gone after Brie and Bryan.
It shouldn't have been about Brie and Maurice, first of all, and especially since they're both part-timers.
Yeah.
So again, we get back to my earlier point that part-timers are stealing the focus. And then two, it should have been more personal. Like they would have been criticized for copying their own stuff, but I don't really care about that. Imagine if, say, Miz had done something in the match. He cheats, he hits Bryan with a chair and the ref doesn't see it, or
whatever.
Something else. He knocks him down. Imagine if Miz took Bryan's wedding ring off and threw it in the crowd, a la Gargano, Ciampa.
Yeah.
Imagine how much more people would hate him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why they think the basic kind of good versus evil stuff doesn't work in WWE. I think something like that would be perfect for this feud. Or I want to say it would work for Joe AJ, but honestly, they've done such a good job without stuff like that. They don't need it. But this one, I don't know. It just could have used something to be more personal.
And I thought about this while you were talking, and I don't necessarily mean this, because it would basically just be a repeat of what they did before. And I know Daniel and Brie wouldn't have, like, Daniel and Brie are, like, out for blood kind of a thing, like, they just want to punch him in the face kind of thing. I almost wish we had a repeat of what Miz and Maurice did to John and Nikki with the whole, like, reality star mimicking thing, except on Daniel and Brie's part. Like, basically mimic the Miz and Maurice.
I think that would have been a good start to it, but I think you got to get more personal to really kind of make the people hate it. Till then, they really haven't. Yeah,
they really haven't. The best personal feud that's going on right now is really AJ and Joe.
Yeah, at the WWE level, yes.
Yeah. All right, so Ronda versus Alexa. I like this. I think it's cool. I kind of like Alexa. I don't like her I like Ronda more than I like Alexa. But it's one of those things where we knew Ronda was going to come in and ragdoll her.
Yeah, there was no way Alexa was going to win, but I kind of like that they managed to do... I don't know, I just kind of like that they managed to find a way for Alexa to at least be competitive this time.
Right. Yeah.
It's nice. It sets up that, eventually somebody's probably going to beat Ronda. Yeah. And it's going to be a matter of she's competing when she shouldn't have, or they do something they shouldn't have, whatever.
Yeah.
But this works. Also, absolutely full credit to Ronda Rousey, who people and myself continue to forget that she's a rookie, and she managed to sell the rib injury really well. You legitimately felt like she was hurt.
Yep.
The only negative I have is, for whatever reason, Alexa Bliss, I'm hoping it was a storyline thing, but in any case, she was pulled due to injury on Tuesday. I'm hoping that some of those tosses, then maybe the armbar or whatever, didn't actually hurt Alexa Bliss. Because I've been really impressed with Ronda's work so far, and she just continues, I feel like, to improve. And so I just don't like the idea of she potentially hurt somebody in this.
Yeah.
But,
Ronda, like, all the women have different styles, obviously. They have different moves, they have different this, they have different weight, like, some are ground and pound, some are, high flyers, just like the men. Ronda is a refreshing breath of fresh air in WWE because she's a UFC fight. She's a fighter. She's not traditional wrestler trained kind of thing. She's so different that it makes it so refreshing to watch her matches.
And that's the other thing I find really frustrating with Asuka is that's how she was in NXT. She was this buzzsaw that used strikes, and they've really they just don't know what to do with her in WWE at all.
I don't know currently because I don't remember because I'm just so tired of it. I don't know what Shinsuke's doing currently, but I'd like to see the two of them.
He's got the U.S. title.
Oh, that's right. Wow. Well, that belt's been forgettable since he's had it.
He had a good match on Tuesday at least, but yeah.
Yeah.
So before
now.
Should note, Rousey won. I know we mentioned that. But yeah, solid match again. This has been a great pay-per-view so far. I do want to mention one thing. This was now the segment that Joe was shown backstage talking to Paige.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked this. Joe continued to... He's become a very good actor through this. I mean, he legitimately seems extremely angry. And he consistently threatens mostly the show, SmackDown, rather than just threatening Paige, basically saying that he's going to mess with AJ for 3 weeks. Now, they did a lousy job on the Tuesday after, but whatever. But having said that, I really liked Joe's work there. I like that Paige, as a former wrestler, at least kind of stood up for herself with him. It was a good segment that set things up for the third match in a row between Joe and AJ, and I'm still excited to see it.
Yeah, I am too.
Which leads us to the next match, because I'm not excited at all to see the next rematch.
No,
this match can eat it. So, the pay-per-view has been great so far, and up until the last, I'd say, 5 minutes or whatever, this was a great pay-per-view. This match, so this is the title match, Hell in a Cell, between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. I loved, first of all, their work with each other in the ring. We'll get to the end in a bit. But their work with each other in the ring was really well done.
Yeah, it was.
The one thing I didn't like, and I'm going to be blunt, is Foley did a terrible job as the ref.
Okay, so I wanted to bring this
down to 3, by the way.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up before we started talking about this. Hell in a Cell. Mick has a history with Hell in a Cell, right? Like the only he's got a history with something. I'm just saying, like.
No, I know. I'm joking. Yeah.
It's the only reason why Mick Foley is the special guest referee is because of his history with Hell in a Cell. That's the only reason why he's the special guest referee. And again, it goes back to what you were saying earlier about bringing legends back and focusing on them, even though he's not really the focus here.
I thought they did an alright job of not letting him be the focus. But having said that, I have a feeling where you're going with this. So
we don't need a guest referee for this match. We don't need it.
Well, that's not... If you're going to have one... give them the ability to do something in terms of there's got to be a reason for it. Like, if Mick Foley had been able to fight off Paul Heyman or something, because Mick Foley's a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, he's got experience in the ring, et cetera, then it would have made more sense. But it really didn't matter that it was Mick. It could have been anybody.
Yeah.
Like, there was no reason for it. And to be blunt, the other referees are trained, and they know how this works.
Yep.
And we wouldn't have had the Botcheroony in it.
Roman versus Braun. I absolutely loved it. I thought the match between the two of them was great.
They've always had good chemistry.
I thought that because we have this whole thing with the Shield and the Shield and Braun and his team, whatever they're going to end up calling themselves, I don't even know. Let's hope it's better than the League of Nations. The Monsters Among Men or something. I don't know, whatever. Because it's Roman and Braun fighting, I love that Drew and Dolph and Seth and Dean came out and got on top of the thing.
It was perfectly done, too, because the whole point of the cage is that there's not going to be interference, and there wasn't.
Right.
And I know some people will say, well, it kind of took away from the match inside. I still think it would have worked if there wasn't something else that happened either, but I just want to concentrate on this part for now. Before I get really negative. I really liked it. I thought it was well done. You had, Dean climbs the cage with the kendo stick to save Seth from the double team.
Yep.
And the whole thing was just really well done. And then we get Dean takes out Ziggler, and then McIntyre and Dean kind of take out each other.
Yep.
And I thought that was solid. And then Seth gets back up, and he and Ziggler do the spot where they come down. Probably the most dangerous spot of the night. It's either that or Hardy.
I mean, technically the whole screwdriver to the ear thing is super dangerous.
Oh, I meant like the one from the cage.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that too. You said earlier in the episode about nobody technically fell off the cell or nobody jumped off the cell or whatever. I would say that
this is still a good fall, but it's more controlled than Mick or Kevin.
Oh, absolutely.
Going off the top.
And oh, absolutely. So, I absolutely love this. I think all of it was done super great.
And then the pay-per-view ended. There we go. So this is great. I give this an A.
Yeah. Actually, sadly, the pay-per-view did not end, Ryan.
So if we were scoring this, by the way, I would honestly give this 3.5, maybe even a 4.
Okay.
Out of the full 4 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't end.
Okay.
So
what are they doing? That I'm gonna ask that, and I'm not waiting for an answer because I'm gonna continue. But what the hell are they doing? Because I've been saying all of this year, the end of last year, all of the year and a half that idiot held the championship back. What the hell is WWE?
Idiot's a little harsh, by the way. I totally would have done if I was getting paid for it, I would do exactly what he did.
Right, I understand
I know
that.
what you're saying, though. No,
I'm not. I'm not saying I'm not saying. Yes, I did call Brock Lesnar an idiot. I'm not saying specifically
you're gonna die.
It's I don't think he's going to hear this because no one listens to this show.
But when I make that joke, you get really mad at me.
Well, because I'm hoping other people will listen to the other show. There's not a lot of people listen to the other show. Anyway, go listen to the Pullback, folks. Make your greatest game in the comics. Anyway, here's the thing. I think this was dumb on WWE's part because you just got the championship back. Brock's off to UFC or wherever he's going to go, whatever, and you feel like Roman can't do this on his own or whatever. I don't know. You feel like Roman is not getting over, and he probably isn't because, like you said earlier, everybody boos him constantly. But do we really need Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman coming out? Brock actually kicking in the door to hell? Really? Seriously? Do we really need this? And it ends in a no contest. That's stupid.
The whole point of the cell. So I've said this before. The end of a pay-per-view shouldn't change how you feel about the entire thing. I feel like it's okay whenever the entire point of the whole show and the stipulation is that you get a winner and there's no interference. Or if there is interference, there's still a winner. Because we've seen interference in Hell in a Cell matches before.
Right.
Most notably, by the way, they did pretty much the exact same thing with Kane in his debut, and we still had a finish. This was just terrible, and it helps. You said it already. This helps nobody.
This doesn't help Roman
to me, I'm not trying to bash the people involved because this goes above them.
Yeah, it's not about the people. It's about the events and the way that
But there was pretty clearly like a feeling of people of exhaling among WWE fans when Brock drops the title, and we would actually see finishes, we would actually see the belt defended, etc., etc. And then to just bring him back immediately, though, I don't understand it at all. And fine, so let's say he comes back, and let's be honest, by the way, the real reason they brought him back is they feel like they can make more money at the Australia show if Brock Lesnar's headlining it. All right, fine, whatever. But he comes back, and at the Australia show, somebody's going to lose. Or, well, yeah, never mind. I just said something stupid. I mean, if somebody was supposed to lose here, obviously that didn't happen. So what, are they going to have another non-ending? Or I don't understand it at all, and it's really frustrating. I think it's terrible.
It's super frustrating. Like, it makes no sense. Like, okay, I can understand their fears of Roman not thinking Roman can win on his own when clearly he can. He has before, but like I understand that whole point with like having Seth and Dean come out and be his support, be like the Shield versus everybody instead of just Roman versus individual whoever you are kind of a thing. But like the fact that they think that they need Brock to help with like I wanted a clear-cut winner, whether it was Roman or Strowman. I didn't care.
And we and people smarter than us for what, months and months at this point, I almost said a year, maybe it has been a full year, but whatever, have been saying Braun Strowman's a star. He has everything they should be looking for.
Yeah.
He has all the stuff that Vince McMahon supposedly loves, and he's so much better on the mic than when he debuted and everything else. So what was wrong with Braun versus Roman? They've had great matches in the past too. What? I don't get it at all. It was a terrible ending. It's frankly a stupid decision. It kills whatever. I felt great about this pay-per-view. I remembered before this match started, I remember thinking like, man, this might be like the best pay-per-view this year. This has been great. And they found a way to end it so badly that it killed whatever enthusiasm I had for it. And then to top it all off, by the way, apparently the ending was so quick. You know, they did the whole credits and we faded to black super fast as soon as the ref called for the end of the match. Apparently the reason they did it is because the fans started chanting and were really ticked off. Well, yeah. I mean, what do you expect? I don't get it at all.
I don't get it either. I don't understand it. It's as confusing as the NFL wanting Maroon 5 for the Super Bowl halftime show.
So you do all this, and then there's the other baffling decisions, right? Mm-hmm. So say what you want about Bobby Lashley since he's coming back, but they're paying him a lot of money, and he's a UFC star, not the same as Lesnar, but he's not even on the pay-per-view. You don't even have Shinsuke, who's the U.S. champion, on the pay-per-view.
Yep.
Demon Finn Balor is made for a Hell in a Cell match. He's not on the pay-per-view. Owens isn't on the pay-per-view to job to somebody, which is apparently his job now. Just losing. But whatever, he wasn't there. I mean, what... I don't understand. And aside from, if you consider Braun a bad guy, and so aside from his group, the three of them, their next biggest bad guy is probably Elias, and he's not even on there. So, it's... I would have been fine with all that if there was an ending, but the whole point to Hell in a Cell is there's supposed to be an end to the match and no interference, and they ruined it.
Yep.
The hell is the point to these anymore then?
Yeah.
It's so bad, and I still would have been annoyed, but I think I would have been feeling way better about this whole thing if Styles and Joe and an actual finish would have happened. But
like you said, rating the pay-per-view up to the point, but right before when Brock came out, it's easily a 3 or 4 out of 5. Like. Yeah, it's either a 4 or a 4.5 out of 5, a 9, 9.5 out of 10, whatever you want to call it. But with that ending,
part of me just wants to say 0 because I hated it so much now. Like, I don't enjoy thinking about it or talking about it.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating to me when they take the entire premise of the pay-per-view and basically shit all over it.
Yep, pretty much.
It's like if Batman the Animated Series in its second episode made Batman trip, fall on his face, and just look like a dumbass. Nobody would take it seriously again.
Yeah, no. And I'm not sure how much I can take Batman in comics seriously right now, seeing as how they showed his dick. But anyway,
yeah, that's fine. Everybody has one. Well, I mean,
yeah.
You know.
Every male has one.
Well, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Whoops. I don't know what's coming up next on Mayhem Mics, folks. I do know at some point, like I said, over on the pullback, we will be doing Boom Studios WWE Volume 3, Roman Empire.
I say until then, why don't we take another look at one of the network shows that's enjoyable?
Yes, we will do that. I'm just saying, I don't know when that's happening, is what I'm saying. Because
fine. But there's a lot of fun stuff on there still.
Absolutely, yeah. Hell in a Cell, the ending made it worse, and then Raw and both Raw and SmackDown after shows. The
SmackDown was better, but yeah, Raw did not impress me.
No.
I don't know, and so Corbin plays his role well on Raw, but did anybody think he was going to beat Roman in the main event?
No.
Or that it wouldn't become a mess of interference, or, I didn't think it wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good at all, because here's the thing. What they've done right now, because Kurt isn't there, because, let's face it, Stephanie isn't there, and I understand that Stephanie has other duties and other things that she's doing, and that's all well, good, and fine. But because it's Baron Corbin, and they're trying to do what I believe is the Vince McMahon move, like young Vince, like Vince 20 or 30 years ago Vince, where he basically inserts himself into everything and makes up his own, like they're basically trying to make, Baron into a newer version of Vince kind of a thing. Like, obviously, Baron's not going to have a kiss my ass club or anything, but...
Oh, God, I hope not. That was not one of his bit. Whatever.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, the whole ending to Raw last week felt like
We're getting off topic, but yeah, my point was just, similar to yours. It felt like the ending to Raw was kind of pointless.
Yeah.
And that really hurt after a pay-per-view where the ending was pointless.
Yeah.
It might have been okay if it had been one or the other, but the fact they did both made it really problematic for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to rate this. I honestly think I probably would have given a 3.5 to a 4 up until the end, and I was really happy with it. And then we get the end, which frankly to me was just an insult.
Yeah. Up until the end, I would have said this rivals whatever other pay-per-view I said this year was the best one to this point. I forget which one, like maybe was it SummerSlam or Extreme? There was one pay-per-view episode that we did where I said this pay-per-view had, like, I wouldn't change anything on this card. I may have switched maybe one match, but that's it. The card from beginning to end.
The last month's was really solid. We enjoyed that, and then enjoyed the night after.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was well done. And then, this was just a load of crap at the end. And I don't know how. Maybe I'm totally wrong on this. I could very well be. I don't speak with them. But I don't know how, if you're a dude who works there week in and week out and everything else, you're not upset with the fact that they keep bringing back these old stars and these part-timers and shoving them down everybody's throat and telling us how awesome and great they were and saying, hey, remember this? At the expense of the guys they're trying to build up.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I really don't. I think it hurts. I mean, if you did a... why do I always use Batman? Probably because it's so easy for me too. Whatever. If you did a Batman show and the first week was Bruce Wayne as Batman and he's great, but then the next 5 weeks we're showing you how much better somebody else is as Batman, you get annoyed pretty quick.
Yeah, it's like comparing Val Kilmer to George Clooney.
Oof. All right, yeah, that probably works better. I don't know where I was in any case.
So, next time around is episode 48. I have no idea what we're going to do. Like Ryan said, we'll probably do something from the network, a couple of somethings. Maybe we'll finish out Ms. and Mrs., the final 2 episodes, and we'll do something else after that. Honestly, after this pay-per-view and after the Raw and SmackDown, like, I honestly want to walk away for a while. The only thing that has me continually interested is the Shield versus Braun and his monsters. Like that 6-man tag team match, that's the only thing that I'm interested in right now, currently, that's on WWE besides Evolution, which is the all women's pay-per-view.
And that's because that feud, one, and for me it's Joe and AJ.
Yeah, that too.
And it's because that feud, at least originally though, featured guys who were actually there and that kind of thing. It felt like it was the only one that everything was making sense and going well in. Now they've kind of derailed that with the introduction of Brock to it. Mm-hmm. The other one is still good, at least, AJ and Joe. But yeah, just, I don't know. And as for a rating, because I'm going to make you rate this, because you always make me rate them, even when I don't want to. Oh, God. I don't have a clue.
I'm going to give it a straight 3 out of 5 because it's mainly because of the ending that I feel like it's the ending put the product on a whole as a middle ground thing.
And I feel miserable because everybody's work up until that point and the wrestlers' work in that match too was fantastic. Yep. So I don't like what a crappy feeling I have about this.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I don't know what to give it. I think I'm gonna go lower and just say 2 out of 4.
5.
And just, I mean, the early stuff for me though was a solid 3.5 to 4.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, like I said, outside of 1 or 2 things, like you said, Joe and AJ and the Shield versus Braun and his monster team kind of thing. Outside of those 2 things, like, this almost made me walk away from watching any of it completely. Like the current Raw, SmackDown, the pay-per-views, like I almost don't want to watch anymore because of the ending. And I just don't know
too how. Let's say we were in the writers' room. I don't know how you pitch this and think it's going to go over well.
It didn't.
No, I know, but that's my point. Like, how do you sit in the writer's room and say, like, all right, here's my idea.
Yeah.
And, this is how it's going to work. And I don't know. And I don't know that, maybe I'm off, but I feel like a lot of people feel the same way about it and are kind of annoyed by it, but who knows? I know the ratings dropped spectacularly, but also remember that the Emmys and Monday Night Football returned on Monday, so I don't know. That's it. Just watch them ride along.
Yeah, exactly. Ride along or Table for Three or hell, even Camp WWE is better at this point. Yeah, so where can the people find you online, sir?
At Nightbeat on Twitter.
I am at TFG and Mike on Twitter. You can follow at Geekcast Radio and at This Week in Geek on Twitter as well. Visit the websites geekcastradio.com and thisweekingeek.net. Check out all of our geeky content on both the U.S. and Canadian side of content for podcasting from us. We will catch you next time here on Mayhem Mics when we'll be talking about, who knows?
Something.
Spider-Man on PS4. I don't know.
Something fun.
Yeah.
That's interesting you mentioned that. I had a video of glitches from that in the background a while ago.
Yeah. Ooh, Spider-Man PS4 with Bonesaw. Bonesaw is ready. We'll catch you next time, folks.
At least the game has an ending.
Hey.
It just doesn't just keep going.
That's true.
No, I meant on like Hell in a Cell. Spider-Man doesn't just call it off.
Exactly. All right, we'll catch you next.
Interference by Dr. Octopus on the play.
God, stop. We will catch you next time here on Mayhem Mics. See you later, folks.
You just made the list!
All clear.